Hey guys, Splicewave here, and I'm back again with another Playing PlayStation Home in 2021 video, part 3. Now at the time of recording this, my latest PlayStation Home offline update, named 3.06, is not out yet, but it will be released very soon. So in this video, I'll be showing you some of the new stuff added in this update. So with that said, let's get into it. Since the last update, there has been over a dozen new spaces added. Some of them are minor and obscure spaces, so I won't go over them in this video, while some of them are quite interesting spaces. So let's take a look at the latter ones. So we'll start with the 2007 GDC Hub space. Now, some of you may know what this space is and some of you may not. For those that don't know, this space was from the very first build of PlayStation Home, which was also seen in the trailer back in 2007. Over a year before PlayStation Home was officially released. This space was also in the beta of PlayStation Home, but it never made it to the full game unfortunately, but here we have it. It's not perfect as it's currently missing a few collision spots. For example, you walk through that tree and you'll fall through the map, but it's still a very nice space to have in this offline build. So yeah, I'll give you a quick show around of the area. As you can see, it's not all perfect. For example, that screen over there is missing, and I'll show you that collision missing. If I go over to this tree here, for example, I can walk through this, I can sit on it, and this tree, if I go through here, I fall through like that. And continuing on the theme of GDC spaces, next we'll go to the GDC 2007 Games Room. Okay, so here we are at the GDC Games Room, where as you can see, it looks very similar to the bowling alley, and you would be correct in that. Unfortunately, the bowling minigame and the arcade machines do not work, but like I said about the previous space, it's still a nice thing to have. And the last GDC space that's been added, which I'll show to complete the trio in this, the GDC Harbour Studio. So let's go there now. Okay, here we are. Now the layout looks pretty much the same as the real Harbour Studio, but the difference is obviously the outside bit and the environment around it. For example, the original is an actual harbour studio. This is more of a mountain, and unfortunately you can't go through here, the doors aren't open, but if I press F6 I can go outside here. Turns off collision in case you don't know. And speaking of that, we're going to head to a space we already have, and what I'm going to show you next is not a space or a mini game, but it's a new feature added in this update. So let's go there. Okay, here we are at Acorn's Meadow Park. And like I said, I'm here to show you the new features added, so in terms of the space itself, nothing has changed about it since last time. And these new features are something you will need a keyboard connected to your PS3 for if you're playing on PS3. So if you've seen my video, how to use commands in PlayStation Home, you will know about having to press F9 and then type out the commands you want in order to execute it. But now, some of those commands I've shown in that video can be activated simply by pressing a button. For example, if I press F8, gives me a run boost. And if I press F7, puts me back down to normal speed. And then if I press F6, like I did in Harbour Studio, turns off collisions. And if I press F5, it turns them back on. Such as that. And there's two more button features. So, as we all know, F10 is the free cam button, but if I press F11, it now teleports me straight to wherever the camera is. Pretty neat. And then the last feature is activating a new scene menu. So as we all know, the menu looks something like this. You know, it just has personal spaces, clubhouses, and public spaces, and then favorites, developer tools, I don't even use them, and then just one apartment. But if I press F12, it now activates a menu similar to the one in retail PlayStation Home. Obviously it's not complete and it's still missing a few things, but what I like most about it is this recently visited, because here it shows you your most recently visited spaces and it's the last 10 you've been to. So it's pretty nice. It's not done yet, but in future updates I will improve it. Okay then, now that I've shown you these new features, let's move on to another new space. And here we are at Infinite Oasis Ranch Open House. In this update, this is by far my most favourite space added, Originally it was going to be set in as an apartment, but later on I found out this is actually the public space version. And the reason why it's my favourite space added is because of these water textures. They just look so good. And also I just love the attention to detail. For example, this swinging a tree. Something I've always wanted. And on top of that, something else I've really liked is the fact that you can go around this pool. It's a really nice house. It's a shame it wasn't the apartment version, but, you know, it's not something I'll lose sleep over. Anyways, I'll go to one last space before I end the video. There are more spaces added in this update, which you can find out for yourself at the end of the video. But for this video, I just wanted to show you some of the best things added in this update, rather than bore you with all of it. And last but not least, here we are at the Dream Yacht. Now, for over a year, the Arctic Voyage version of the space has been in the offline build, but not the regular version, and I've managed to find it, so here it is. Now, for me, this is almost on par with the Ranch Open House as my favourite space added, but since I've had the Arctic Voyage for over a year, like I said, I think the Ranch will stay my favourite space added in this update. But unlike the Ranch, this is a personal space, so you can decorate it to your liking if that's what you want to do. What I love about the space is just all the detail, you know, the hot tub, the helicopter over there, and if we activate run speed again, I'll show you something else. And also we've got the lighthouse over there, very nice details. But down here, at the front, we have a submarine and also a seaplane. Reminds me of the Dodo in GTA 5. And of course up here, we have the captain's deck. Always love sitting here, even though there's nowhere to go because there's a mountain and an island in my way, but still a nice area. And still one of my favourite spaces, just not as much as the ranch. But anyways guys, that brings us to the end of the video and I hope you all enjoyed. Later on, I'll be making another video on how to install this update, and that's where you can read the patch notes for this update yourself so you can see everything that has been added. But with that said, take care and peace.